It was a damp and weary afternoon in late autumn when I, Dr. John H. Watson, found myself seated once more at 221B Baker Street, Hike. The fog hung thick outside our windows, and the air smelled faintly of coal and rain. Holmes reclined upon the sofa, his long limbs folded beneath him, eyes half closed in that peculiar state between thought and reverie which often preceded his most brilliant deductions. I had long since learned that even when he appeared inactive, the mind of Sherlock Holmes was rarely at rest. His thin fingers drummed lightly upon the arm of his chair, and every now and then a fleeting expression crossed his sharp features, as if some invisible chain of reasoning passed before his inner eye.
My dear Watson, you have developed a most observant stare of late. I can feel your eyes dissecting me as though I were a rare insect under your medical instruments.
How'd habits die hard, Holmes? I was merely wondering what problem you are meditating upon this time. You've scarcely spoken for an hour, which generally signifies the approach of something interesting.
You are, as usual, quite right. Scotland Yard has once again thrown itself upon the mercy of my leisure hours. A note arrived this morning from Lestrade.
Lestrade, then we are to have an adventure?
Adventure or embarrassment, the two so often masquerade as one another in that institution. His note is brief and oddly formal. He requests my presence this evening at the Carlton Club on behalf of an illustrious client.
An illustrious client? That sounds almost regal. Do you suppose it is royalty?
The word is intentionally vague, which in official correspondence often means precisely that someone of influence who must not be named. It piques my curiosity, Watson. When secrecy exceeds necessity, it generally conceals either scandal or folly.
You mean to attend, of course?
Naturally, you will accompany me. Your solid presence lends me the appearance of respectability. Without you, I might be mistaken for a conjurer or charlatan.
You flatter me, Holmes, or rather, you insult yourself.
The two are rarely distinct in friendship, but come, before we are swept into aristocratic mysteries, indulge me with a small experiment.
An experiment?
Observe the hat upon the table. What do you deduce from it?
It is well worn, I should say. A man of modest means, perhaps, though not destitute. Wait, the lining is torn.
Go on, my dear fellow.
The dust upon the brim suggests it has not been brushed recently. I might infer carelessness.
Admirable, but superficial. Now note the sweatband discolored at the front, which indicates mental exertion rather than physical labor. The man is likely one who works indoors in an anxious profession. The crack on the left side of the brim corresponds to repeated folding. He carries it under his arm, suggesting vanity about his appearance in public. There is a faint scent of violet, which implies the presence of a wife or devoted servant. And lastly, the initials H.B. make it a simple deduction that the owner is Henry Baker of the Goose and Blue Carbuncle affair, who visited me this morning to express gratitude.
Holmes, you never fail to astound me. I recall that very hat. You mean to tell me he has been here again?
Indeed, only briefly. He left this relic as a token of thanks, though I dare say his gratitude exceeds the value of his offering.
And yet even a discarded hat becomes a textbook under your gaze.
Elementary, my dear Watson. One need only look with the eyes and think with the brain. You, however, are progressing. There was a spark of true deduction in your observation about the dust.
You are too generous.
I am rarely accused of that. That Uelismozing.
When shall we meet Lestrade then?
At 7 o'clock, precisely. Until then, I propose a quiet pipe and a chapter from your latest medical journal. Unless, of course, you prefer your own writings.
I think, Holmes, the world has quite enough of my chronicles for now.
On the contrary, the world has precisely as many as I permit. Were it not for your pen, my name would have vanished into the fogs of London long ago.
You care more for puzzles than for fame.
fame, my dear Watson, is merely the echo of a solved problem.
Evening drew upon us with its usual haste. As the lamps in Baker Street were lit, Holmes and I set out for the Carlton Club. The fog had thickened into a grey veil that wrapped itself around the gaslights, turning them into dim halos. London at such an hour seemed half asleep, half ominous, a city of secrets waiting to be spoken. Within the grand marble hall of the Carlton Club, found Lestrade pacing nervously near a side entrance. His small, sharp face was red with excitement, and he clutched his hat like a man unsure whether he was welcome.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson. Thank heaven you've come. I've been waiting these 30 minutes. The matter is a delicate one, and I was told to bring you without delay.
Then by all means, Lestrade, lead on. You appear as though you carried the crown jewels in your pocket.
It's near that serious, sir. The gentleman is waiting in the private library. He insisted upon the utmost secrecy.
Who is this mysterious patron?
I'm not at liberty to name him, Doctor. You'll see soon enough. Only mind your tone. He's a man of great influence and not accustomed to being questioned.
Influence is no antidote to folly, Lestrade. But rest assured, I shall be as deferential as the truth allows.
We were ushered into a richly furnished chamber lined with books and portraits of grim-faced statesmen. There by the fireplace stood a tall gentleman with a military bearing. His hair was iron grey, his eyes weary yet resolute. He greeted Holmes with the manner of one who has little time for preamble.
Mr. Holmes, I am grateful that you have consented to meet me. I must speak without delay. What I tell you must go no further than these walls.
You have my word, sir.
Then allow me to explain. The matter concerns a lady of high birth, one whose name cannot be spoken without stirring the gossip of Europe. She has become entangled with a man of most unsavory character, a certain Baron Adalbert Gruner. Gruner!
I had heard of that name. A notorious Austrian nobleman, rumored to possess both wealth and cruelty in equal measure.
The very same. He has bewitched the lady with his charm and reputation. But beneath his civility lies a past blacker than night. If the engagement proceeds, it will mean her ruin, socially and perhaps even physically. We have tried persuasion, warning, even appeals to her family, but she will not listen.
And now you wish me to intervene.
Precisely. You must find proof of his villainy, something undeniable that can open her eyes.
I see. And this lady, she is the illustrious client you speak of?
Not directly. My name must remain concealed, but my instructions come from one who has her welfare at heart, one whose rank is above question.
Then the stakes are indeed high.
High enough to interest me. Tell me, what do we know of this baron?
He resides in a luxurious house in Kingston. His wealth appears boundless, his manners impeccable. Yet there are whispers, tales of a woman in Vienna, another in Prague, both of whom died under strange circumstances.
Murder then.
We cannot prove it, but I believe him capable of anything.
Then I accept the case. I shall begin my inquiries tonight.
Holmes turned to me with that gleam in his eyes I knew so well. The light of battle, the thrill of an adversary worthy of his powers.
Come, Watson. The game has resumed. We have an illustrious client and a dangerous villain. It promises to be an evening of interest.
And so began our adventure, one that would draw us into the shadow of a man whose charm concealed will beyond imagination, and whose cruelty would test even the genius of Sherlock Holmes. The following morning found Holmes and me once again at Baker Street, the street still wet from last night's drizzle. Holmes sat hunched over a small table, cluttered with maps, letters, and various scraps of paper, his gaze sharp and intent. I had taken to carrying my notebook more frequently, eager to capture the methodology of his reasoning.
Watson, I have considered the Baron Gruner carefully. His reputation is a mask, but the mask slips under the right light. We must find an opening, a point at which his vanity or cruelty reveals itself.
And the lady? How is she faring under this sinister spell?
She is a clever girl, I'm told, but young and inexperienced in the ways of such men. The danger lies not in her judgment alone, but in the Baron's ability to seduce appearances into truth. Appearances, Watson, can be far more convincing than reality.
Have little doubt of that. And what is your plan?
First, we gather facts. I intend to visit Kingston myself. Observation is key. Let us consider his household, his patterns, and the people around him. Every man of ill character leaves a trail, however faint.
And we leave at once.
After a light breakfast, precision requires patience. Haste ruins deduction, as surely as it hastens a misstep on ice.
See, very well, Holmes, I shall accompany you, as ever.
Excellent. We leave no detail to chance. Do you remember the case of the copper beeches? Every small clue was vital, and here we have a similar tableau, only darker in intent.
Your memory for details is astonishing. I often feel I am chasing shadows in comparison.
Shadows, Watson, are the beginning of light. You observe, you interpret, you shall improve yet.
I hope I shall not lag behind today.
Lag? In my company, one never lags. One learns. Come, we must hire a carriage. Kingston is some distance, and the Baron awaits.
The journey was uneventful, though my mind was restless. Holmes, as usual, had already begun his observations, the angle of a chimney, the spacing of lampposts, and the occasional pedestrian's gait.
There, Watson. Did you see the man with the brown bowler? Note his hands, covered with the faintest trace of flour and oil. A baker, yes, but one with a limp. Observe also the carriage that passes us. Its driver wears the crest of the Kingston Guard. Every detail tells a story if you look closely.
I admit I am often too slow to notice these subtleties, yet the Baron is our target.
Precisely. And every investigation must begin by understanding the landscape. Kingston is not merely a location, it is a character. Its streets, houses, and inhabitants form a network, each node a potential revelation.
You speak as though the city itself conspires with you.
In a sense, it does. The city is indifferent, we merely learn its language.
Soon, the spires of Kingston emerged, and the Baron's residence came into view, a grand house of austere stone, flanked by iron gates and a neatly kept garden. Holmes studied it intently.
Observe the symmetry of the windows, Watson. Oddly, the third floor shows signs of recent renovation, brickwork fresher than the rest. The Baron values appearances, yet this particular floor appears neglected.
Perhaps servants have been at work?
Possibly, yet note the placement of the drawing room windows. They face the street directly, suggesting he wishes to be observed, or wishes others to believe he can be observed. A man of danger often manipulates perception before action.
You mean he encourages surveillance only to hide his true intentions behind it?
Exactly, Watson. One must always ask, why present oneself if not to distract from something deeper?
And the lady, would she be aware of these subtleties?
Rarely. Emotional attachment clouds judgment. That is why our intervention is necessary.
We approached the house under the guise of ordinary visitors. Holmes, ever methodical, noted the door locks, the placement of servants, and the precise intervals between the Baron's visible appearances in the garden.
See the gardener? He wears gloves. Though it is not cold, he has a scar on his left wrist, a sword or knife wound. Servants often conceal past injuries, but such traces reveal experience, perhaps complicity.
Wait, you observe what most would dismiss entirely.
Elementary, Watson. Only those who attend to minutiae can see the patterns hidden within.
Inside the house, we were greeted by the Baron himself, tall, elegantly dressed, his manner, the perfect study of charm. There was something in his eyes, a cold precision that unsettled me.
Baron Gruner, I presume. Gentlemen, may I offer my respect?
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, I trust you found my residence satisfactory?
Indeed, Baron. Your arrangements are most orderly.
Mion, smiling, faintly smiling, faintly mion. One must maintain appearances. So use comma of order, after all, is the first step toward harmony. Beals.
His smile was courteous, yet it did not reach his eyes. Still, there was an imperceptible tension in his posture, as though every gesture were rehearsed.
Quietly. Watson, quietly. To Watson, quietly to Watson. Notice the mirror, Watson. Observe its angle. There is a slight crack at the bottom, nearly invisible, yet it reflects light differently. A broken mirror is often overlooked, yet it may conceal evidence.
What evidence could be hidden there?
Letters, photographs, objects placed deliberately. The Baron is meticulous, but all men leave traces of their true selves in small cracks and imperfections.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, would you like tea or perhaps a tour of the house?
A tour would be enlightening, Baron. Lead the way.
They come to the followed him through the drawing room, library, and corridors. Holmes' eyes never left the subtle clues, the worn edges of carpets, the slight disarray of papers on a desk, and the uneven pattern of the floorboards. Each observation was a thread, leading toward the deeper tapestry of the Baron's character.
Watson, do you see the angle of that painting? It is slightly tilted. That tilt is deliberate to hide the faint outline of a second nail which held another picture. He may have removed it recently, yet traces remain.
Remarkable. Even the slightest deviation becomes a revelation.
Elementary. In human behavior, small inconsistencies are often the clearest indicators of deceit.
By the time we departed, the Baron's charm had made little impression upon Holmes, yet I could not help but feel a shiver at the quiet menace lurking beneath that polished surface.
Watson, I have formed the first outlines of our strategy. Observation must precede action, and I intend to return tomorrow with instruments for closer scrutiny. There is more hidden than he imagines.
And so the game deepens, Holmes.
Precisely, Watson. The Baron is a puzzle of elegance and danger, and the slightest misstep may reveal his true nature. We have only just begun.
Our journey into the shadows of his household had begun, and already the threads of deceit, vanity, and potential cruelty began to weave a tapestry of peril awaiting the deft hands of Sherlock Holmes. The morning after our initial visit to Baron Gruner's house found Holmes unusually restless. While I was content to examine the streets of Kingston or read the morning papers, he was pacing our lodgings, muttering to himself about angles, light, and the arrangement of furniture. Precious!
Watson, it is essential that we return to the Baron's residence today. His meticulousness is a mask, but even masks bear cracks. We must find his correspondence, letters, invitations, anything that will betray the true nature of his dealings with women.
And you believe such evidence is to be found in Kingston?
Undoubtedly, every man leaves traces of his intentions, whether in ink or in habit. The Baron is clever, but cleverness is rarely matched by foresight.
I have little doubt that he will suspect nothing if we approach as casual visitors.
Precisely. A proper disguise is unnecessary. Perception is controlled by observation rather than appearance.
And so, at an unassuming hour, we returned. Holmes's eyes scanned every detail, noting the shadow cast by the mullions upon the drawing-room floor, the slight discoloration along the baseboards, and the irregular spacing of objects upon the shelves.
Observe, Watson, the cabinet under the large mirror. There is a subtle gap at the corner where it meets the wall. That gap, nearly imperceptible, suggests movement. Someone has hidden something behind or beneath it.
Shall we investigate?
Patience. The Baron is likely in the garden, his attention upon appearances. We must act when our scrutiny attracts the least attention.
As we waited, Holmes's mind seemed elsewhere, spinning a web of possible deductions.
Watson, consider the Baron's character. Charm perfected, cruelty concealed, vanity immense. Such a man does not simply commit wicked acts. He records them, either for manipulation or amusement. Letters and documents will betray him if we look carefully.
And the lady, she remains unaware of this dangerous correspondence?
She suspects nothing. Emotional attachment, clouds, judgment. She will not see the danger until shown incontrovertible evidence.
Then we are indeed her protectors, Holmes.
Protectors, investigators, and observers. Each role demands attention to the smallest details.
Holmes approached the cabinet, inspecting the gap with a trained eye. He pressed gently against the bottom panel, and to my amazement, a concealed drawer slid open, revealing several envelopes tied with black ribbon.
Ah, Watson, here it is, the Baron's hidden correspondence. Note the care with which he preserved these letters. Elegance disguises guilt.
May I see one?
Be discreet. The contents are damning if mishandled.
The letters, though addressed in polite script, speak of meetings, transfers of money, and mentions of women in distant cities. The language is careful, yet there is an undercurrent of control and manipulation.
Hmm, precisely. Observe the quoted references, the Lady of Vienna, and the Prague arrangement. There is no doubt now. These letters document a pattern of seduction and ruin.
And he has taken pains to conceal them within his own house, beneath his gaze, animal, confident that no one would notice.
A clever man, Watson, but cleverness does not equate to omniscience. Even a baron may miscalculate the attention of a detective.
What do you intend to do with these letters?
We copy them. The originals must remain undisturbed until the proper moment. Evidence must be irrefutable and undeniable.
And how shall we gain access to the necessary materials?
I carry them here in my coat. A brief visit to the local stationer will suffice. Time is essential. He may return at any moment.
As we departed for Kingston's main street, I realized the gravity of our mission. The letters were more than correspondence, they were a chronicle of the Baron's sinister operations.
Watson, consider each word carefully. The Baron writes of meetings with women he has ensnared, referring to them as arrangements or duties. Such language betrays a lack of conscience. Morality is absent, replaced by calculation.
It chills me to think that a man could plot ruin with such elegance.
Elegance is often the mask of cruelty. Remember, Watson, appearances mislead more frequently than truths.
We returned to Baker Street with copies of the letters. Holmes examined them by lamplight, scrutinizing each signature, seal, and phrase.
The Baron uses the same handwriting for each city, yet subtle variations reveal different states of mind. In Vienna, the letters are cautious. In Prague, hasty and careless. Note how the H in Hoffman twists differently in each document. A man's temperament inscribed upon paper.
I have never observed such minute detail in handwriting.
It is the key to understanding him, Watson. The smallest irregularity betrays the largest deception.
And what of the lady? How shall we present this evidence? As we have evidence,
8. With tact, timing, and certainty, we cannot merely confront her with letters. The Baron's charm is formidable. We must show her the pattern, his duplicity, his cruelty, and the danger she faces.
I see. And the Baron himself, will he suspect our scrutiny?
He will notice if we act too hastily. Observation must remain covert until the moment of revelation.
Holmes, your foresight is extraordinary.
Elementary, Watson. Danger lies in haste. Patience and calculation are our allies.
That evening, as London was cloaked in fog once more, Holmes continued to study the letters, cross-referencing dates and places, reconstructing the Baron's movements and relationships. The pattern that emerged was unmistakable, a calculated series of manipulations, each designed to ensnare women of influence or wealth.
See, Watson? Vienna, Prague, and now England. The Baron moves with precision, yet even precision cannot erase the evidence left behind.
And we now possess that evidence.
Indeed, tomorrow we shall approach the lady. She must see the Baron's duplicity through the lens of undeniable facts. Only then can reason penetrate the veil of affection and charm.
Holmes, your calmness in the face of such calculated evil is admirable, though I cannot help but feel a shiver at the Baron's audacity.
Fear is the companion of the unprepared, Watson. We are prepared. Observation, deduction, and evidence are our shields.
And so we concluded the night with the letters spread before us, each a testament to the Baron's cunning, each a step closer to exposing the truth. I could only marvel at Holmes's methodical mind and at the courage required to confront such a man.
Watson, the Baron is dangerous, yes, but danger is nothing when approached with knowledge. Our path is clear. Gather evidence, reveal the truth, protect the innocent. That is all that matters.
I felt the weight of the task before us, yet also a sense of grim satisfaction. For with Holmes, even the darkest of villains leaves a trail, and justice, subtle though it may be, is never beyond reach.
Sleep well, Watson. Brr. Tomorrow the game continues, and the Baron shall learn that even the most polished mask cannot conceal what is elementary to see.
And with that, I retire for the night. The letter's dark tale haunting my thoughts, yet bolstered by the certainty that Sherlock Holmes would uncover the full truth. The following morning, Holmes and I prepared ourselves for the most delicate portion of our plan, the confrontation with the lady whom Baron Gruner had so carefully ensnared. She was young, accomplished, and of high social standing, yet completely unaware of the danger that lurked beneath the Baron's polished exterior.
Watson, discretion is our greatest ally. Our aim is not to alarm her unduly, but to awaken reason where emotion has clouded judgment. We must approach gently, but with undeniable evidence.
And you believe she will accept proof without indignation?
The evidence must speak for itself. Facts, Watson, never lie. Emotion and sentiment do. Once he sees the Baron's duplicity clearly, reason will prevail.
Very well, Holmes, I shall follow your lead.
Excellent. Remember, we are observers first and guardians second. Any sign of hysteria, and we must temper our approach accordingly.
Holmes' words were deliberate, measured, as though he were rehearsing the dance of diplomacy and persuasion that lay ahead.
The lady resides in a modest but elegant townhouse near Belgravia. Its refinement suggests an upbringing of privilege, yet the furnishings indicate taste over ostentation. Careful, deliberate choices, much like the lady herself.
We were admitted, after brief explanation to a maid, who led us into a drawing room where the lady awaited. She was seated beside a window, her gaze distant, as though contemplating matters far beyond her immediate surroundings.
Madam, may we introduce ourselves? My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend, Dr. John Watson. We come at the request of a friend most concerned for your welfare.
Startled, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson, I was not expecting visitors.
We understand the delicacy of this intrusion, madam. Please allow us a moment to explain the nature of our concern.
Concern? For me? From whom?
From one who wishes to remain unnamed for the present. Now, suffice it to say, your welfare is of great importance, and there are matters that require your attention.
She looked at us with a mixture of curiosity and unease, the grace of her posture betraying the anxiety she did not wish to reveal.
I am afraid I do not understand.
You shall, madam. If I may, I will begin with facts. These letters, which we have copied for this purpose, detail actions by Baron Gruner that you may not yet have considered.
Where's trembling voice, trembling letters? What letters?
Correspondence that records his dealings in various cities, Vienna, Prague, and others involving women who have been manipulated or harmed. He has concealed these, confident that no one would discover them.
Gasping softly, gasping softly, gasping softly. Manipulated? Harmed?
Precisely. Observe the evidence, madam. These documents detail meetings, financial transactions, and arrangements which prove a pattern of seduction and betrayal.
Her hands trembled as she accepted the copies Holmes handed her, tread as dies, her eyes widening as the truth slowly dawned.
This cannot be true. He is so charming, so impeccable.
Charm is but a veil, madam. It is a tool used to conceal true intentions. Do not let appearances deceive you.
Voice breaking, voice breaking, voice breaking. I thought I knew him. I believed him.
The evidence cannot lie. Note the dates, the places, the women mentioned. There is a clear and unbroken pattern. He's the same everywhere, and his intentions remain constant.
Tears welled in her eyes as she read, each line unraveling the illusions she had so carefully woven around her own heart.
But what am I to do? He will not listen if I confront him. He is clever. And my position, my family. he
That is why we act prudently. Direct confrontation is not yet necessary. First, understand the truth fully. Then, we will devise a plan to remove you from his influence safely and securely.
Holmes's calm assurance lent weight to his words. His manner was firm yet sympathetic, his reasoning precise, leaving no room for doubt or hesitation.
I I understand. But how could I have been so blind?
Not blind, madam, but human. Men of such cunning exploit trust and affection. Your perception was genuine. The deception lay entirely with him.
Softly, softly, softly. What must I do now?
Observe, consider, and refrain from action until advised. Tomorrow, we shall approach the Baron indirectly. He must not suspect that his secrets are discovered.
She nodded slowly, absorbing each word, her resolve strengthened by understanding the gravity of the situation.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson, I feel as if a weight has been lifted, though the danger remains.
Knowledge is the first step toward freedom, madam. Once you understand the truth fully, no charm or threat can sway your judgment.
Our visit computed with the lady expressing gratitude, yet I could see the lingering fear in her eyes, a fear tempered by dawning clarity.
Watson, the Baron underestimates the power of reason. He believes affection blinds, yet logic and evidence pierce even the most seductive veil.
That evening, we returned to Baker Street, where Holmes immediately began devising the next stage of our plan: careful surveillance, strategic placement of evidence, and preparation for the inevitable confrontation with the Baron himself.
Baron believes he is untouchable, Watson, but every misdeed leaves a mark. We have discovered his pattern, and now we shall exploit it.
I felt both awe and apprehension. Holmes' mind was a tempest of calculation, yet I trusted entirely in his judgment. He would not act recklessly, but the danger of confronting such a man weighed heavily upon us both.
Tomorrow we shall make the Baron's duplicity undeniable, not by force, anyth, but by exposing the truth to those whose influence he cannot withstand.
And so concluded the day, with the lady aware of her peril, the Baron still unknowing of our scrutiny, and Holmes preparing with the meticulous care that had ever been his hallmark. The stage was set, and the final movements of this delicate and dangerous game were about to begin. The following morning brought a chill to London, the streets damp and grey, yet I could scarcely notice the weather. Our focus was entirely upon the Baron, whose charm and duplicity we now fully understood. Holmes had spent the night mapping the precise movements of his household, calculating every chance encounter and every possible opportunity to place evidence where it could not be ignored.
Watson, the game reaches its climax. Baron Gruner is confident in his perceived invulnerability, yet even he cannot escape observation. Tonight we shall illuminate the truth in such a manner that concealment is impossible.
And the lady? She has been instructed to remain calm and await our signal.
Precisely. Her role is patience, ours is strategy. One misstep and the entire enterprise might collapse.
I followed Holmes as he prepared a small satchel containing the letters, our copies, and a few discreet instruments for closer inspection. His methodical care left no detail to chance.
Watson, note the timing of the servants' rounds, the Baron's habitual afternoon stroll, and the placement of his windows. Every variable accounted for. Precision, as ever, is our ally.
We arrived at Kingston in the late afternoon. Holmes observed silently from the carriage, his eyes scanning the Baron's residence, noting the angle of shutters, the movement of shadows, and the faint reflection from a window that might conceal secrets.
See there, Watson, the top floor window, slightly ajar, likely the Baron's study. Every detail of his character is betrayed by the arrangement of his surroundings.
I have often marveled at how Holmes reads a house as if it were a person. Every object, every imperfection, every shadow becomes a clue.
The Baron believes he is careful, yet even the most meticulous man cannot erase the evidence of habit. That crack in the mirror, the slight tilt of the cabinet, the concealed letters, all speak volumes. All speak volumes.
We entered the house under the pretense of a social visit. The Baron greeted us with his usual polished charm, a smile that failed to reach his calculating eyes.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, I trust the morning finds you well. I was not expecting you so soon.
Your hospitality is as impeccable as ever, Baron. We merely wished to observe your arrangements further.
Z followed him through the drawing room. As we followed him, a dazzling mods, Holmes's gaze remained fixed on the subtle inconsistencies. The uneven arrangement of papers, this if you bodies, the faint indentation of writing upon a desk, and the mirror with its concealed drawer.
Watson, the letters you saw yesterday, they will speak today. Baron, you have been most careful, yet you have overlooked a single fatal oversight.
Fordening, curiosity, fordening, curiosity, fordening, curiosity. I do not understand, Mr. Holmes. What oversight could you possibly mean?
This one, Baron. He produces copies of the letters and spreads them upon the table, face visible to the Baron. He produces the copies of the letters and spreads them upon the table, face visible to the Baron. He produces the copies of the letter and spreads them upon the table, face visible to the Baron. Each missive, each arrangement, every transaction you believed. Secret, now exposed. Oh,
Stiffening, stiffening, stiffening. How did you come by these?
observation, calculation, and a simple truth. No man can hide indefinitely from scrutiny, not even one as clever as you.
Osmo Pitsembalam looking out at you, and shabbed the books to Gabalthin. His hand, which had held a teacup so gracefully moments before, trembled slightly as he realized the depth of our knowledge.
These are fabrications, lies.
Lies, Baron, would be easy to refute. Yet the handwriting, the dates, the details of meetings in Vienna, Prague, and elsewhere, each corroborated by witnesses, each consistent, speak for themselves. Your duplicity is undeniable.
I could see the tension in the Baron's posture, the rapid calculation of escape, of denial, Nasandars, of manipulation, all strategies for which Holmes had already prepared countermeasures.
The lady, Baron, has been informed of your actions. She now understands the pattern of your conduct and the danger you represent.
Voice low and dangerous voice. Low and dangerous voice low and dangerous. You dare involve her? You cannot threaten me with her.
Threat is unnecessary, Baron. The truth is sufficient. Your charm cannot withstand reason and evidence combined.
The Baron glared at Holmes, then at me, then at the letters. His composure wavered for the first time.
Baylor, Mr. Holmes. Suppose I concede some indiscretion. What then?
Then you will be compelled to abandon all further attempts to manipulate or harm the lady. Her reputation, her safety, and her autonomy are now safeguarded by the facts you cannot deny.
But in the faint needs, Itchbody summonses instauro vumbers against evidence, the barren feature of floor goes rebichoring way and some of the sokumbages. His elegance remained, but beneath it, a simmering awareness that his power over the lady had been broken.
Watson, we have done what is necessary. The Baron's duplicity is exposed. The lady's understanding is complete. We have merely ensured that reason prevails where charm and manipulation once held sway.
That evening we returned to Baker Street, the letters safely stored, and the Baron's schemes dismantled without open confrontation or scandal. Holmes' satisfaction was quiet yet profound.
Elementary, Watson. Observation, deduction, and patience. These are the tools that render even the most dangerous men powerless.
I reflected upon the events with admiration and relief. The lady was safe, the Baron's influence nullified, and justice, subtle yet unyielding, had prevailed.
This case, Watson, is an example of the delicate balance between charm and deceit, influence and manipulation. Yet, truth, when revealed with certainty, cannot be ignored.
And so concluded our adventure, with Holmes once more demonstrating the extraordinary power of observation and deduction, and I, ever the student of his methods, grateful to witness the triumph of reason over artifice.
Rest now, Watson. Cases such as these remind us that even in the highest circles, folly and villainy may exist, but they are no match for careful scrutiny and a disciplined mind.
And as I retired for the night, I could not help but marvel at Holmes's genius, a man whose mind could pierce the veil of appearances, uncover the darker schemes, and restore justice with quiet precision.